Okay.
Fourth application is orientation.
Hmm.
Angular, it is also known as angular velocity vector.
Okay.
The equation is uh, omega bar of t is equals to d by dt theta bar of t.
Hmm.
It controls drone's pitch.
ఇంకా అంతేనా?
అంతే సార్.
Okay. See three boys here. 10 applications. సిఆర్ బాయ్ సిఆర్ త్వరగా నోట్ చేయలేదా? ఏ ఎందుకు? టైం సరిపోలేదా? టైం సరిపోలేదా? సిఆర్ స్క్రీన్ కనబడుతుందా? సిఆర్
కనిపిస్తుంది సార్.
ఒక జస్ట్ 1 మినిట్లో అయిపోయే వర్క్ని మీరు ఇంత డీలేనా? ఎలక్ట్రోమాగ్నటిజంలో ఉంది, నెక్స్ట్ ఫ్లూయిడ్ డైనమిక్స్, నెక్స్ట్ వన్ మెకానిక్స్ అండ్ గ్రావిటేషనల్ ఫీల్డ్స్, గ్రీన్ స్టోక్స్ ఇలాగ మనకు వచ్చేస్తుంది. నెక్స్ట్ అప్లికేషన్స్, ఇంజనీరింగ్ అప్లికేషన్స్, హీట్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్, మాస్ ఫ్లో, స్ట్రక్చరల్ అనాలిసిస్, నెక్స్ట్ కంప్యూటర్ గ్రాఫిక్స్ ఇందులో కూడా యూజ్ చేస్తాం. సో మీరు జస్ట్ వాటిని జస్ట్ సెర్చ్ చేయడమే కదా మీ వర్క్. ఇక్కడ మీరు జస్ట్ కొత్త క్రియేట్ చేయడం అవసరం లేదు, ఎందుకంటే మన దగ్గర సోర్స్ చాలా ఉంది, ఇంటర్నెట్ చాలా. సో చాట్ జీపీటీకి ఇస్తే చాలా క్వశ్చన్స్కి ఆన్సర్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. సో ఇంత చిన్న వర్క్ని మీరు ఎందుకంటే కంప్లీట్ చేస్తున్నారు? స్పెషల్లీ ఫర్ కంప్యూటర్ సైన్స్. సో కంప్యూటర్ సైన్స్ కొట్టేసి ఈజీగా వచ్చేస్తుంది. కనపడుతున్నాయా సిఆర్? లైటింగ్ అండ్ షేడింగ్, సర్ఫేస్ ఏరియా కంప్యూటేషన్, particle simulation, ray tracing and path tracing, physics based animations. సో ఇంత ఇంటర్నెట్ కంటెంట్ ఉన్నప్పుడు జస్ట్ సెర్చ్ చేయడం ఇంపార్టెంట్. సెర్చ్ చేస్తే సరిపోతుంది కదా. మిషన్ లెర్నింగ్ ఏరియాస్ కూడా వచ్చేసాయి. నెక్స్ట్ రోబోటిక్స్, కంట్రోల్ సిస్టమ్స్, కంప్యూటర్ వర్షన్ ఉంటుంది, ఫ్లూయిడ్ డైనమిక్స్, కంప్యూటేషనల్ ఫ్లూయిడ్ డైనమిక్స్ అండ్ సైంటిఫిక్ కంప్యూటింగ్, ఎస్పెషల్లీ న్యూమరికల్ మెథడ్స్లో ఉన్నట్టున్నాయి. నెక్స్ట్ క్రిప్టోగ్రఫీ అండ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ థియరీ. ఓకే, సో జస్ట్ మీరు సెర్చ్ చేయండి సరిపోతుంది. మీకు రిలేటెడ్ సబ్జెక్ట్ ఎక్కడ ఉందో అక్కడ సెర్చ్ చేయండి. ఓకే, ఈజీగా అప్లికేషన్స్ చాలా దొరుకుతాయి. వీలైతే ఏంటంటే మీరు కొత్తగా ఏమైనా క్రియేట్ చేయండి. ఫ్యూచర్లో మీరు E4లో కొన్ని ప్రాజెక్ట్ చేస్తారు కదా, మేబీ యూజ్ఫుల్ అవుతుందేమో. ఓకేనా అండి? ఓకే
ఓకే సార్.
okay. Now what is the previous topic? The previous topic is the vector differentiation. Now we'll give the brief overview of the vector differentiation. So vector differentiation is related to the del operator. So del operator we can write the del symbol. Del symbol means it is the a triangle symbol. So mathematically So mathematically we will write it is the dou by dou x I plus dou by dou y j plus dou by dou k. So it is we also called as nabla operator or del operator. And point function. So point function. So point function, we have the two functions. One is the scalar point function, another one is the vector point function. So first of all, scalar point function. So scalar point function, so this, if the each point P in the region R, so corresponding there is a function, pi function, that function we call as scalar point function. So scalar point function, so example, so f of x comma y, f of x comma y comma z is equal to x y z square, and one more function is 3x square minus y cube plus z square. So these are the two examples of the scalar point functions. Next one, the gradient of the scalar point function. So gradient means just it is the del of f. So symbolically we will write del f, and the mathematically we will write I into dou by dou x plus j into dou f by dou y and plus k into dou f, it is f, so dou f by dou z. Okay, and I think we have seen some examples in the previously gradient of f at the point 1 minus 2 minus 1. So just to calculate the I into dou f by dou x plus dou j into dou f by dou y plus k into dou f by dou. After simplification we will get something. What is something? So 6xi plus 3 minus 3y square z square j minus 2y cube zk at the point 1 comma minus 2 comma minus 1 is 6i plus 12j minus 16k is the gradient of f at the point 1 comma minus 2 comma minus 1. And the one more okay, and I think we have seen some basics of the vector dot product of the two vectors and cross product of the two vectors. So if assume a and b are the two vectors, the dot product of the two vectors are a1 b1 plus a2 b2 plus a3 b3. So here a vector is a1i plus b a2 j plus a3k, and b vector is b1i plus b2i b2j plus b3k. And one more point is I dot I. So I dot I is nothing but 1, and j dot j dot so 1, and k dot k also 1. And one more point, so here I dot I means these two are the parallel, so that's why it is the non-zero. Next one, I dot j. So I dot j is 0 because these two must be perpendicular to each other. Similarly, j dot k and k dot I and j dot I and k dot j, I dot k is all are perpendicular to each other, so that's why this dot product of these terms must be 0. Next one, similarly, cross product. So cross product of two vectors is nothing but it is the determinant of the 3 by 3 matrix. The first row is ijk, second row is related to the first vector, related to first vector only, and the second row related to the third row related to second vector. So first vector we know that a vector, that is the a1i plus b1j plus c1k, and second vector is b is the b1i plus b2k and b3k. So the cross product of the two vectors is nothing but determinant of the 3 by 3 matrix. Okay, and one more point here, the I cross j. So I cross j is j. Similarly, j cross k is I, and k cross I is j. It is the clockwise version. Anti-clockwise version is j cross I is minus k, and k cross j is minus I, and I cross k is minus j. Okay, and this is the basics of the cross product and dot product of the two vectors. Next one, the angle between the two vectors. Okay, assume it is the first vector a and b vector is the second vector. The angle between the two vectors is assume theta. Now cos theta is equal the dot product of the a and b and by the product of its magnitudes. That means the mod of a vector and the mod of the b vector. Okay, or we can write like this: a cos theta is equal a1 b1 plus a2 b2 plus a3 b3 by under root of a1 square plus a2 square plus a3 square, it is not a3 square, into under root of b1 square plus b2 square plus b3 square. It is the cos theta value, and the theta indicates the angle between the two vectors. Okay, and one more point is here, so if these two vectors are suppose perpendicular to each other, that means the angle is 90 degrees. So that relation between this a1 a2 a3 is and b1 b2 b3 is, so a1 b1 plus a2 b3 plus a3 b3 must be 0. or the dot product of these two vectors must be 0. So the dot product of these two vectors must be 0, and here these two vectors are, so according to this one already we know that I dot j is 0 because perpendicular to each other, and I dot k is 0 and k dot I also 0 because this must be perpendicular to each other. And one more point is, if the angle is suppose 0, angle suppose, any doubts? Okay. సో అందరూ ఆర్జుకేటి మెయిల్ ఐడితో మాత్రమే లాగిన్ అవ్వండి, మీకు ఈజీగా యాక్సెస్ అవుతుంది, లేదంటే మేబీ మీకు యాక్సెస్ ఉండకపోవచ్చు. ఓకే, సిఆర్ ఓకేనా? ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ వన్, if the vectors are two vectors are parallel to each other, then the angle between these two vectors are 0 and the cos theta is equal. So after simplification we will get the a1 b1 plus a2 b2 plus a3 b3 is equal under root of a1 square plus a2 square plus a3 square under root of b1 square plus b2 square plus b3 square, or the dot product of the two vectors is equal to the product of the two vectors. Okay, so this one is the angle between the two vectors if the angle is 0. And one more point is I dot I, we know that 1, that means this is the non-zero. Okay, or how can we calculate? By using this formula also, because I, the angle between I and I is 0, so I dot I is equal definitely the magnitude of the I into magnitude of I. So magnitude of I is 1, so 1 into 1 is 1. Okay, so now this one is about the angle between the two vectors. Next one, suppose we have the two scalar point function f and g. How can we find the angle between these two functions? So that is related to gradient of f only and gradient of g. So first of all we have to find the tangent vector. So tangent vector, that means normal tangent. The normal tangent is, here the gradient of f is tan normal tangent. So normal tangent is gradient of f. So gradient of f is normal tangent, and the gradient of f in the gradient of f by the norm, that means the length of the gradient of f into length of the gradient of f, or we can write like this also. We can simply del f dot del g by mod of del f into mod of del g. Okay, this one gives the cos theta. And same here also, if the suppose angle is 90 degrees, that means the gradient of f and gradient of g must be perpendicular to each other. Definitely the dot product of these two vectors must be 0. Similarly, suppose if the angle is 0, that means these two must be parallel. So gradient of f and the gradient of g must be it's a product, the cross product of these two must be is equal to the length of the product of their lengths. Now this is the okay. Next one, unit vector. So all of you know unit vector is nothing but if the length is 1, that is a unit vector, and every vector we can convert into unit vector by dividing its length. That means if the beta is any vector, then beta by the length of the beta must be gives the unit vector. Okay, so this one also we have seen in the previous class. Next one, tangent vector. So tangent vector, just to so tangent vector at any point, the curve is x is equal to so and so, y is equal to so and so, and z is equal to so and so. This is the parametric form. And just the position vector here, the r is the position vector, xi plus yj plus zk, and the dou r by dou t is the tangent vector. And at the point t is equal to 2 is equal to, so here the 4i plus 4j plus 2k is the tangent vector at t is equal to, it is the parametric form. Similarly, same now unit tangent vector. So already we have the tangent vector is 4i plus 4j minus 2k. So unit tangent vector means you have to divide by the length of the vector. So length of the vector, it is the under root of 4 square plus 4 square plus minus 2 square, that we will get the length of this vector 6. So now the unit tangent vector now 1 by 6 into 4i plus 4j minus 6, that means 1 by 3 of 2i plus 2 j minus k is the unit tangent vector, and this is the calculation of the unit tangent vector. Next one more point is gradient of f. Already we know that the gradient of f very simple, just I into dou f by dou y plus j into dou f by dou y plus k into dou f by dou z will get the gradient of f. Okay, sometimes they will be at the point, so at the point we can solve. That means substitute x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 1, z is equal to 1. I think I have given one more homework. So this is the homework. How many of you done these three problems? Parents all is Andy?
Yes, sir.
ఏమైనా ఆన్సర్స్ వచ్చాయండి సిఆర్స్?
Sir, f is equals to xyz square కి
ఒక్క నిమిషం
20i
కొంచెం మెల్లిగా చెప్పండి సిఆర్. ఫస్ట్ వన్ గ్రేడ్ ఎఫ్
20i plus
20
12j minus
20i
60k plus 12j
plus 12j good
minus 60k
60k for first gradient. Next second grade
26i
26i ఇంత పెద్ద నెంబర్ వచ్చింది. ఓకే
plus 9j
ప్లస్ 9j
plus 6k
6k.
6k sir.
ఓకే నెక్స్ట్
Plus sir.
ప్లస్ ఓకే
Sir plus 6
ఓకే గుడ్. నెక్స్ట్
3i
3i
plus j
ప్లస్ j గుడ్
plus 8k
ప్లస్ 8k. ఓకే ఇది కరెక్టేనా అండి? ఓకే ఇంకా సాల్వ్ చేస్తారా? ఓకే సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద solutions of the gradient of f. Next one more point is the normal vector. So normal vector on the surface f. So normal vector is nothing but just a gradient of f. So gradient of f, and here the f is the scalar point function. So gradient of f is the normal vector of the surface. Okay, just simplify. At the point 1 1 1 we'll get the 4i plus i 4i plus j plus 2k is the normal vector at the point 1 1 1, and the same extension question is unit normal vector at the point 1 1 1. So same, just first of all find the normal vector, that means gradient of f at the point 1 1 1, and find the length of the vector. So let the length of the vector is root of 21 is the length of the vector. So now the unit normal vector is, so vector by its length, that means 4i plus j plus 2k by under root of 21. And next one, I think I have given the homework. Is all sir and CR?
yes sir.
Answers వచ్చాయా? వదిలేండి. ఓకే సో the first one is very simple, just to calculate the dr by dt, we'll get the normal vector. Similarly second one, then it is a normal vector on the surface, we have to find the gradient of f only. Okay, I think I have given total 4 problems. Okay, so try to practice these 4 problems. And the angle between the two surfaces, so angle between two surfaces is just to calculate the cos theta is equal to gradient of f dot and gradient of g by its product of the length of gradient of f and gradient of g. Okay, for that first of all you have to find the gradient of f at the point 1 to 1 minus 1 and 2. So now we'll get the gradient of f at the point 4i minus 2j plus 4k, and the gradient of g similarly same 4i minus 2j and minus k, and the angle is just substitute gradient of f and gradient of g. Before that, first of all you have to find the length of these vectors. The length of the first vector is 6, second length of the second vector is root 21. Now cos theta is equal to, just after simplification, cos theta is equal to, we have 8 by 3 into root 21. That means the angle between these two surfaces is cos inverse of 8 by vector and prove undadu. So they will give the some vector. Okay, assume that is the solenoid vector, then find the unknowns అని ఉంటాయి. Okay, that is maybe lambda or maybe a or maybe dollar. Okay నా అండి, I will stop now. CR now time ఎంత అవుతుందండి? ఓకే నౌ విల్ స్టాప్. అందరు అటెండెన్స్ ఇచ్చారా? లాగిన్ ఇచ్చారా?
yes sir.
ఓకే ఓకే అందరూ గూగుల్ క్లాస్లో యాడ్ అయ్యారా? సాదియా సుల్తానా ఉన్నారా లైన్లో? నాట్ దేర్.